All right, so this is part two. We've already wired up the pump, so now we're going to get back, check if everything is going all right, give the system a flush, and hopefully we can get to test drive the car. Now when it comes to putting in a fluid in any system on your car, you realize that with all the systems, the manufacturer has a recommendation of the lubricant that you need to use. So even for your engine, most likely on the oil cap, for newer cars, you'll see on the oil cap it's written the rating of oil you need to use. On the transmission, the same thing, you'd see it on the cap or on a dipstick, for the transmission. Now for the power steering, that's written on the cap of the refill tank. Now for this electrohydraulic system, it uses a different fluid than regular mechanical power steering systems. Here I have both of the fluids that I can use. Now this is the Toyota genuine power steering fluid, and if you look right here, you'll note that it says Toyota PS fluid EH. Now the fluid EH, that's a specification that you can go by if it is that you're looking for a different brand in which you could use that. And that is how I came up to use the AMSOIL. Now I did make my call to Miracle Corporation. They are the distributors of AMSOIL locally in Jamaica, and I was able to verify that AMSOIL is also a substitute that I could use in this system. Now on the back here, you see it has the requirements, and here where you see Toyota PSF type EH. So from that I can verify that this is the type the fluid that I can use if it is that I cannot get the genuine one. So we're going to get this into the system, give the system a flush, and then we see how everything works out. Now before I hook up the power steering oil cooler, I'm going to just loop the line, the low pressure line here, and run it such that I can flush and then drain the system afterwards, and not let it run through the cooler.
Something all right? Something alright, yeah.
Now to wire this power steering, we went on the internet, downloaded some schematics, and looked at some other things that people did to get it to work. We copied that and we haven't been able to get that to work. Now seeing that I'm having a difficulty, the pump is from a MR2 Spider. I am close to a MR2 Spider. So why not just study this MR2 Spider to verify where I'm going wrong and what is my problem. Now the issue that we've been facing is that I have not been able to get voltage on the output leg to the main for the pump, the main voltage wire for the pump. So what I've now confirmed is what happens in each of the 3 pins that that were pointed out on the schematic for us to use. So that is pin number 1 on plug C, pin number 5 on plug B, and you use pin 1 and 2 for live and grounds on plug A. So we've confirmed now that for plug C, pin 1 is supposed to have a live going through there, and for pin 5, plug B, is supposed to have a grounds going through there. So I'm going to replicate that with the relay now, and we'll see what we get. Now as you can see here, this is a loom for the pump, and these are the 3 wires that we're going to be using. So we have C1, B5, A1. Now from what we found out on the MRS, we realized that A1, B5 should be getting 12 volts and C1 should be seeing a grounds. Oh, here, this is the breaker that we're going to be using, and this is the relay that we're going to be using. So go back here, and we had previously wired a switch to this relay, which is this wire. So this is the wire coming from the switch. When the switch closes, you're supposed to get a grounds. So we've confirmed the switch leg. Now for this leg, which has a red wire, we're going to run, this is going to come from the breaker, from the circuit breaker to that red leg. And then now we have this white wire that is running to the fuse box at the moment. And this will be our output. Now when it is that once the switch is closed, we're supposed to be getting an output from this. We're supposed to be getting a positive output from this. Alright, now that's confirmed. Let's do some mock-up and see if we can get this working. Alright, now it's time to test. Let's hope for the best. Alright. Alright, we're in business. Alright, so it's toned down now. So I guess that's about it. So here I'm using a syringe to get out the fluid that I just used to flush the system. If you look, you can notice it looks a little milky. There's a possibility that water got into this rack and pinion as we had it we just had it open to the atmosphere and engine bay was washed out and such. So just getting out all of those contaminants and then putting back fresh power steering fluid. After having flushed the system, we went on to installing the oil cooler. The oil cooler will be needing some brackets welded on, but for the time being I'm securing it with some strap ties. Alright, so I was looking forward to close off this video by giving the car a test drive with the new power steering installed, but that won't be possible. So we left the car here for a week. I couldn't get to test it right after having finished pressuring it up and everything was in place. Turns out that we have a leak on the system. So from the preliminary investigation, it seems that the fluid is leaking from the rack itself. Now I don't know the history of this rack and pinion, so I'm going to say, just try to look exactly where it's leaking, and most likely we'll have to recondition the rack and pinion. So yeah, I won't get to test it out unless it is that I buy fluid, put in it, drive it, have that leak out, and then work on it. But with how things are right now, I won't do that. Yeah, so possibly a seal gone somewhere here. I need to get this boot off. That strap might just be the original one, so this rack here probably has never been worked on before. The steering rubber would have needed to change anyway. See over here, we see leaking here too. Alright, so let's get pulling.
Derby in the Premier League. Chelsea will attempt to make a run on the top four at home to West Ham shortly. Today's earlier kickoff has seen Burnley beat Wolves 2-1. Our football reporter Tim has been working on the game at Turf Moor and joins us live now. Tom, how did it play out?
Well, Burnley started the evening in the relegation zone, Rob, but they moved their way out of it comfortably so. They are up to 63 points clear. The goal scorers for them, Ashley Barnes in the first half. He was the